Okay, if you're anything like me, I used to struggle with knowing exactly how I should be following up with buyers and sellers. I was constantly always looking for a script, hoping that someone would finally be able to tell me, like, hey, this is exactly what you should be saying to every client. And it's like a blanket thing that you could use every single time. And what I realized over time is there was no such thing. And the second I figured out what I'm about to show you guys here is how I went from like literally never being able to follow up with people and close people from follow-ups, like it was a complete waste of time before, to where all of a sudden now all of my transactions were coming from follow-up by using exactly what I'm going to show right here. So today I'm literally going to be going through everything we do to follow up to a T, exactly the cadence, the breakdown, everything. So I make sure you stay through this entirely. And if you want this full PDF, I'm going to have it in the description below. So if you want to, you could go ahead and pause, download it, open it up, and follow along with me as I walk through it. Or if you just want to have it for later on, you could have it for later on too, completely for free. Let's jump right in. So the biggest thing we get right from people when we're meeting them at an open house, when we cold call them, we meet them through social media, they're an online lead, whatever it is that I'm not ready to do this just yet, right? And so then maybe they don't answer you, maybe they ghost you, maybe you give up on it, right? Because you don't care about it because they're not looking to do something just yet. Now, there's usually a few reasons why people do this. One, they either really have to wait that 12 or 24 months, or two, they don't really trust you yet, and you're just the salesperson that feels like you're trying to sneak in and make some money off of them. So they're going to feel like, I'm going to tell this guy 12 months, even though I really am looking in 3 months. This whole thing that we're going to go over, this framework, is exactly how to get people to buy and sell sooner. And also, if they are really looking to buy or sell in that 12 plus months, you have the permission and actual good reason to be able to follow up with them. So that way you're not that guy that has to call back in a year because you forgot or didn't have a good reason to. And then they say, hey, yeah, I already bought. I actually just closed on the home yesterday and I'm moving in right now. No, none of us want that. So let's jump right into this. So why most follow-up dies? Every follow-up call most agents make has the same question hiding inside of it. Are you ready yet? And that is what makes people go, this is a salesperson. They want me to do something right now. They want money from me right now. And that kills it, right? You have to lower the guard. So you never say it out loud, but they can tell, right? They could just tell, and nothing was learned, nothing was built, and the next call is harder than the one before it because you know you are the person who checks in and they're the person who dodges. The problem was never the script. The problem is that you called to move them and they could feel it. So stop selling the calendar. You're not calling people to move somebody up. You're calling to understand them. So future pacing is what we're going to be talking about in this, is agreeing with their timeline out loud, then walking them into it in enough detail that it starts to feel real. 3 things happen when you do this. 1, their guard drops because you remove the pressure they were bracing for. 2, the future gets specific, and a specific future is the only kind people act on. 3, you become the person they already made the plan with. Nobody starts over. So the opening, this is one of my favorite ways, and you can obviously spin this towards however you met them, right? Hey Sarah, it's Peyson. We met at the open house on 123 Main Street. I know when we met, you said you were 12 months out, and I know that is still the plan. That is the key piece right there. Making the guard drop, saying, hey, I know that is still the plan. I just want to make sure I understand exactly what you're looking for when those 12 months do come. This is now what's going to let people's guard drop and be like, I not feel like I told this guy I'm not buying for 12 months. Why is he calling me again? Right? That's what's going to make the guard go down. So you named exactly where you met because they probably had forgotten. That's fixed now. You said their timeline first before they had to defend it, so that way they don't have to counter back, right, and feel defensive. You said it is still the plan. You never asked if it changed, and you gave a reason that serves them, and you never asked for anything. This is the best opener. It is so, like, you don't get any resistance on this. Like, yeah, occasionally you're going to get the person that says F off, right? But everyone else is going to be like, oh, wow, this isn't a usual phone call that I get. Usually everyone's trying to move me up. So building the 12-month picture, this is what's next, right? And I'm going to get through how you take someone from the 12-month picture to obviously making them do something sooner. But you have to walk all the way through this. So when you picture yourselves in the new place, where are you standing? What is that house that What does the house have that the one you are in right now does not? Who is in the house with you? What does the morning look like? What is the drive? What actually changed for you the day you move in? What has to be true between now and then for that to happen? This is going to help you understand this person more, help you be able to paint the picture for them. Then you're going to have a really good idea of, okay, I know what to follow up with if this is a 12-month plan, right? Or I know what motivation to push on if this is actually a 3-month plan. But you don't know this stuff without asking. So these are really good questions, and I'm sure you guys have questions you could ask too. But these are just a few options of questions and things that you should be knowing. Then ask the one that matters. What would make you move sooner than that if for any reason, right? Now, some phone calls, I'll tell you, maybe this doesn't feel like the right thing to always ask. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. They'll give it away, right? If they're really strict on that 12-month time frame, don't push on it. Don't make their guard come back up. But if they start to slip things up where it's like, well, we may actually want to do this sooner, this is a really good question to ask. Not going to go a ton into this. Nobody moves because of a rate, right? People move because life moved first, and that may be the lease end date, a baby coming, a parent moving in, a remodel, school enrollment, marriage, parent passing. Obviously, there's so many different things, and you need to find that life event and put a date on it. Then ask about the stuff that is not the house. These are like the gold, right? This is like, I always talk about, I had someone that I got him from Facebook. It was a Facebook lead. Got him initially on the phone call one time, said, hey, I'm looking to sell my home in over 12 months. We're going to retire. We're going to buy an RV for the first time and go travel. We've never used one, but that's what we're going to do. And that's how I then followed up with these people for the next 12 months, even though they ignored me. I called and texted them every time. And I was able to basically build a relationship with them, even though they didn't respond to me, all because I was sending them tips on how to use RVs since it was their first time doing it. So knowing things like, do you have a dog and what is the name? Do the kids play anything? What sport, what team? Where did you move here from? What does a Saturday look like for you two? Finding out random little things, right? And interweave this into the conversation through while you're having the real estate conversation. So that way you don't obviously feel like you're digging just super deep, weirdly into their personal stuff, but you also are getting more to know about them. Because guys, listen, like if they really are 12 to 24 months out, they don't want to constantly respond to you when real estate's not even on their mind right now about real estate. So you have to build a friendship and you have to talk to them about other stuff. The whole goal is to stay top of mind, not get them into a house right away. If they want to get into a house right away, they will, right? So find these things out. Not how are the kids, how did Brody do at the tournament? That is like one of the best things. And that'll make them be like, oh wow, like Peyson actually cares about what's going on in our life. He isn't just here for the commission check. And again, that's the whole point of the future Peyson is showing, I don't care when you do this, I just care that you do it with me when the time comes and I'm best serving you and I most understand your plan. That, if you can make that switch in your head and then also make the buyer or seller understand that, they're gonna say, wow, this guy really has my best interest in mind. So what I've watched happen too many times, somebody waits the full 12 months, they do everything right, then they go get pre-approved at the end of it and they get denied over something that would have taken 20 minutes to fix a year earlier. So this is right where we get through the full conversation. And then we get to the end and it's like, okay, now how do we actually convert these people? What do we actually do for the next step? This is it. So this is where you can either get them to do a Zoom call with you to take it just a little bit further. You have them meet you for coffee. Maybe it ends up being a showing. And my personal favorite, especially if it's a buyer, right, is getting them introduced to your lender, right? So what I like to always talk about is, hey, look, I've had clients before where they waited 12 months, exactly like you did, right? And they go in 12 months, they go to get pre-approved, and the lender says, hey, you have to fix this, you have to fix this, you have to fix this. And then they get set back 6 months or 12 months or maybe even longer. And now they have to worry about re-signing the lease or doing a month-to-month or moving in with family, and all their plans get derailed. And it breaks my heart watching it happen. So what I always recommend now is having a 5-minute conversation with my lender. Don't worry about submitting anything. Don't pull any credit. Just keep it 5 minutes, quick, simple. Make sure that you guys are buttoned up for when you do decide to buy in 12 months from now. Remember, you keep reiterating whatever their timeline is so that they keep understanding that you understand it, right? And then what happens is they'll say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I want to make sure we are covered. You introduce them in a group text with the lender where you hype the lender up and then the lender hypes you up back, right? And then the lender may call you after and say, hey, look, they're actually ready to do something in like 3 months. They're submitting documents right now. And you're like, dude, what? Like, they were telling me that they weren't ready to do anything. And he's like, yeah, well, they're submitting everything. Like, this was my experience with it so many times, and how my career took off in the beginning with setting open houses was this. I was taking people that were saying they maybe weren't too ready just yet and get them in front of the lender, just no pressure, just make sure you're set up for the future. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, I'm on showings with that person within the next few days. It was like the craziest moment for me. So ask for the 15 minutes on Zoom. Ask for just a cup of coffee and keep it casual. Don't go show up with a big briefcase and have everything broken down. Keep it casual, bring your laptop, right? But don't even pull out the laptop. Just talk about what the home buying process is like in the current market. And then if they ask a really, sophisticated or in-depth question, that may be a time to pull out the laptop, and maybe you could pull up the buyer consultation that you have and just go to that page. And then maybe they'll ask about a few other different pages now because it's up. Make it casual. Or the 5 minutes with the lender, which is my personal favorite if you want to move the person up from that 12 or 24 month or even 6 month timeline. Get them in front of the lender. So say all these out loud when you offer the lender call. Nothing to submit, no credit pull. You're not applying for anything. Keep it guard down, right? Keep it casual, future pace. Like, don't make this like hard close. You have to do this, you have to do this. Get pre-approved right now. No one wants to do that, right? Even when like they're ready to do stuff right now, keep it casual. Don't make people's guard go up because people get scared of stuff like this. You have to make it seem like it's a no biggie, it's a no-brainer. And then once they get on the call, they'll see it's a no-brainer and they may decide to want to submit that stuff. So this is, again, just going through exactly how to have that conversation with setting up that Zoom call or the cup of coffee or meeting with the lender. Again, highly would recommend the lender one if you're talking to a buyer directly. If it's a seller, you can do the Zoom, a cup of coffee, or you can meet them at their house. Say, hey, why don't we just walk through it for 5 to 10 minutes? So that way I know in 12 months from now what it already looks like. So that way I could keep an eye on comps for you and actually know the specifics. Then talk the next touch. So here's what I heard. 12 months, once the lease is up, 3 bedrooms, and you want to stay inside the same school boundary. Did I get that right? I'm going to keep an eye out for anything that fits and send it over when it shows up, and I will call you around the first of the year to see if anything changed on your end. Fair enough. Now, the cool thing with all of this is, okay, maybe they are waiting that true 12 months. Now you know exactly what they're looking for. You know more about them. So now you could follow up with them and you could send them exact houses and say, hey, this is why I love this house for you. This is why I hate it. And I'm just sending this to you so that way you have a good idea of what the houses look like, what price point is, how fast things are going. So that way when you do decide to buy in 12 months, you have everything you need. That is then they may end up seeing something and they're gonna be like, hey, actually, Peyson, we're ready to actually go take a look at that. That's everything we want. We know we said we were 12 months, but that's perfect. So we wanna go buy it. That's a really good thing. So, or it's just now you know to touch on the dog or the kids' football team or whatever it may be. So repeat it back, offer something, and set the date before you hang up. The whole thing, right, and what you need to get extremely good at is find a way to set an appointment every single conversation you have. Whether that be just a follow-up phone call, whether that be doing an actual appointment, set some type of appointment and just get good at it, because you're only going to actually get 1 out of every 10 appointments that you ask for set. So if you don't ever ask for any, it's going to take a lot longer versus if you just find a way to ask every single phone call, every single conversation, you will set more, because that's usually not a way to bring up that average appointment rate. It is with a skill level, right? But like assume skill level's taken out of it, 1 in 10. What goes in the database? So their timeline and their words, not yours. The trigger event and the date on it. The 3 must-haves, the dog name, the kid, the sport, the random thing they said, whether they took the 15 minutes or the lender call, the date of your next call. You need to have all this written down so that you actually know how to follow up with them and not be like, hey, John, yeah, I was just calling to check in on you. No one wants to take that call. Like, that's a bullshit call. So if it's not written down, the call did not happen. You cannot text your way into knowing somebody. So if you guys are trying to text people when you met them at an open house one time in hopes that they want to work with you, stop. You have to make this as a phone call. Then this is like, I've already explained this, but my RV guy, this was like one of the coolest stories for me, and where the light bulb really started happening to me is like, it's not about real estate. It's about making a human, genuine connection and finding a way to stay in touch with them over stuff that doesn't have to do with real estate. Because we always think people want to talk real estate because we live, eat, sleep, breathe it. These people do not until it is the very second that they're ready to buy or sell. So don't talk about just real estate. That's probably 10 to 20% of the conversation max. And then one line gives you the year. So go back to the random thing they told you, the single line in your entire follow-up calendar. What they told you, the RV, a golden retriever named Cooper, son plays travel baseball, dad is moving in with them. What you send all year, RV tips, park guides, first winter advice, the trail that opened, dog-friendly patios, tournament schedules, the new fields, layout, and casita permits. These are the types of things that you send all year that provide actual value. And then the cadence, if they're 12 months out, every 90 days. If they're 6 months out, every 60 days. If they're 3 months out, every 30 days. Inside 60 days, every week. Really every day is what it should be, right? So the whole call on one page. Name exactly where you met them, say the timeline back, and then you know it is still the plan. Build the 12-month picture in detail, ask what would make them move sooner, find the trigger and put a date on it, get the random stuff. Say the timeline one more time, ask for the 15 minutes and the lender call. Repeat the whole thing back to them, set the next date before you hang up, write it all down the same hour. You are not chasing, you're building the file. 12 months from now, the agent who understood them is the only one who still is in the conversation. This, guys, if you could just understand this and start using this, you don't need a specific cadence. You need just exactly, you guys don't need some crazy script package, you just need this.